All right. How do I start with this going on? How do I start with you stealing the show?
Yeah.
Oh, you got bad breath, man. You stanky. You gotta do the seamstress tag. You're so needy right when I need to do something. Are you about finished? Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Erin of Emerald Erin and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is something a little bit different. I'm going to be doing the seamstress tag. You've probably seen a lot of these around. They were started, I think, by the YouTuber Holly Dolly of Holly Dolly Sews. So I will link all of her information in the description box down below, her video, and all of the questions. So this is basically a tag with 12 questions for sewers like myself or you, and you just answer all the questions. So let's jump into them. So question 1, who am I? My name is Erin. I'm also, my online sewing persona is Emerald Erin, and I sew primarily bras and swimwear. That is my specialty. I am a sewing blogger and now sewing vlogger, but I also have my own little shop in Trenton, Ontario, Canada, and I sell all of the specialty fabrics to make your own bras and your own swimwear, because I found it really hard to source a lot of the fabrics, and I really wanted to make some like beautiful ready-to-wear looking stuff, and I just couldn't find that out there, so I made a shop of my own. Question number 2, when and why did you start sewing? And I like to think that I started life sewing because my grandmother is a seamstress and my mom's always sewn my whole life, so I've just grown up around lots of sewing machines and fabric and everything else. But I probably, when I was a kid, I did some sewing, but I probably didn't really start again until high school, and I kind of took it up for a while, and then I went away to university, and I did a little bit. I did one fashion show in university. I went to school for psychology, though, completely not related, and when I got out of university and had no idea what I was going to do with my life, I started my sewing blog and got back into sewing that way, and clearly I've never stopped. And the part 2 of that question of like, why do I sew? I just love sewing. I love the technical aspects of sewing. That's probably why I love bra making and swimwear so much, because it's something that looked really challenging when I first started. I love making things that I'm not quite sure how they would be made when you first look at them, and then you break down all the steps and really learn how to do them. Yeah, I just love it. Question number 3 is your favorite or your proudest make, and these are actually 2 different ones for me. My proudest make is definitely the first bra that I ever made. I took a sewing class when I was like 17 in the back of my little sewing shop in my hometown, and it was a bra making class, and I made a little white bra, which looking back was like not a very good looking bra at all, but I was just so amazed that I had made something that I had no idea how to make before, and that looked so complicated, but you could really like break down, and so that was my proudest make. My favorite make is usually the last thing that I've made. I did a bra week challenge for a couple years where I made a bra every single week, so I was making tons of stuff, and it was always, you know, finding my favorite fabric at the moment or a style that I really wanted and making that. So every bra that I made was like my new favorite. So I guess right now my new favorite would be my my Latte at Midnight set. That set, yes, that is definitely my favorite right now. Question number 4 is my most disastrous make. Luckily, I don't have too many of these, and I often, if I start something and I know it's just gonna really suck, I don't finish it and I'll just put it away. I'm not gonna spend my time on something that I don't think is gonna work out. But one disastrous make that I can remember is a pair of sweatpants that I made in university, and the pattern wasn't so much disastrous as the fabric. And I remember I was Skyping with my mom sitting on my bed, and I went to like pull them up, and the fabric just completely ripped, and I almost ripped like the whole waistband off the whole thing. It just came completely apart. There was obviously a flaw in the fabric somewhere, but you could just rip a big hole in them. Thankfully, I was at home on my bed when that happened and not out in public, because that would have been awful. Question number 5 is your favorite place to go fabric shopping. And Personally, my favorite place is my own shop because I pick all of the fabrics that I most want all the time. So it's pretty easy to find all of your favorite fabrics when you're sourcing them based on what you want yourself. But other than that, and fabrics for like clothes or other projects that I'm making, I don't really have a huge selection. Here I just go to Fabricland, and sometimes they'll have great stuff in the bins. Usually I look at the remnants bins and stuff. Or like I love any of those like soft plaid flannels fabrics, like any fabric like that. Like just give me all of it. I also love, like if I go to Toronto or Hamilton, I like Lens Mill. They're a really neat store. It's a very like warehouse style store, so you got to like dig and hunt, which I really love. And you can find some really cool things in there. Or downtown Toronto, Queen Street, all the shops are different, and you know, some are like those nests of fabric that you've got to like really, you know, push up your sleeves to find things, and other ones are like super organized and neat, and you can find like really pretty stuff. And yeah, so those would be my favorite fabric places. Question number 6 is your most used pattern. My most used pattern are, of course, all of my own bra patterns. I kind of have one base bra pattern that I use, and I just change a lot of the seams to modify it for all the different styles. So my first bra that I really, really love the fit of was the black beauty bra, link in the description box. And that pattern I've actually used to make most of the bras that I've made since, or quite a few of them, just heavily modified with all the different seams and stuff. As for clothing patterns that I really like, my most used is probably the Ogden Cami pattern, which is a very simple, nice pattern to use. It's just like a tank pattern out of a woven fabric. It looks so classy. I made one in a black rayon, which is like a workhorse in my wardrobe, and I made one out of red lace that I have in my shop that's very pretty, and I kind of straightened off the bottom so that it has the lace scallop on the bottom, which is really pretty. And I also did a hack to make it into a dress, and I made it out of this like silky fabric with birds on it and wore it on my trip, and it was really nice. Question number 7 is most dreaded sewing task, which is just unpicking, especially unpicking delicate bra fabrics, especially unpicking elastics. Sometimes I'll just cut whatever it is off instead of unpicking, or I'll just start again because I hate unpicking. Question number 8 is your favorite sewing task, and I'm a little bit weird on this. I love those like nitpicky jobs. I love top stitching, especially on curved seams like bras. I just love when you like top stitch and it looks beautiful and it's so perfect. Like I love doing that. I also love stripe matching. So if you've got like a jacket or something with complicated stripe matching, or even like a bra pattern that has stripe matching, I love lining up all the stripes and cutting it out and like getting all those stripes to line up just so. I love jobs like that. I know that most people hate them, but I love them. Question number 9 is your favorite sewing entertainment. And my favorite sewing entertainment is kind of all different things. I'm a bit of a silence worker, actually. A lot of times I'll just, especially at my new studio, I have a big like 12 by 12 garage door, and I'll just leave it open and I can hear the birds and the crickets and everything. And I love being quiet for a stretch because I don't get that very often. But otherwise, I'll put old movies on, or kind of TV shows that I don't really have to follow too much, that are really light watching. Or I love sewing podcasts. I particularly love the Maker Style one with Rachel. I was on that once, and she's just fantastic. Link in the bio as well. And also sometimes just music. I quite like Lana Del Rey because it's just very like mellowing music to me. Question number 10 is printed or PDF. And I'm 100% PDF pattern person. I love the instant gratification of being able to get a pattern and then print it off and then make it right away. And especially when you're someone like me who has a lot of bras and underwear and stuff like that, those patterns are really great to print off PDF because there aren't many big pieces to them. There's not a lot of piecing together. Sometimes there's no piecing together at all. And I imagine like if I was doing a huge pattern, like some giant circle skirt, I wouldn't want to print that off and put it together, but I don't really make many things like that. So I'm definitely PDF all the way. Question number 11 is your sewing machines. And I have 2 sewing machines that I use, and let's go see them. All right, so here's a tour of my sewing machines. We'll start with my pride and joy. This is my industrial Bernina. You can see it's got the big motor and everything, and listen to her purr. Let's get a thread there. This machine was my grandmother's machine, her Bernina, and she used it for many, many years, and she passed it down to me, and I use this machine for everything. As you can see, it is quite an old one. I've never really looked into them. This is the number on it, but it has all of the different stitches, so it's not just like a zigzag and a straight stitch. It has all the fancy stitches and everything, but I pretty much only use it for straight and zigzag. Mom put a sticker on it when she was a little kid, so that just shows how old this machine is. Yeah, so this is the sewing machine that I use all the time. Gibby is playing the treat game. We hide little treats for him all over the place. Ooh, he hasn't found that one. There we go. Haha, got it. And the other machine that I use all of the time is my Serger, and this one is a Husqvarna Viking H-class Serger, the 200S. I got this one quite a few years ago, and I use it all the time. I really like this Serger. One of my favorite things about this Serger is that it opens all up, so you can even open this part, and that just makes it so much easier. You can see it's like super messy in there. Don't look, don't look. You can see that makes it so much easier when you're threading it, that you can just open the whole front of it up. And yeah, it's really great. I like to use specialty threads for serging. I have my Gütermann threads there, and then this special, it's what's it called? E151 serger thread. It's perfect for panties and swimwear. It's kind of like a woolly nylon, but not quite so like puffy as a woolly nylon. So, but it's great and feels really nice when you make underwear. So those are my 2 machines. So question number 12, and this is the final question, is do you have any other hobbies? And I think like a lot of people, sewing was my main hobby before it became my job. And now, like a lot of my other hobbies kind of get tied into it too. Like I really love photography, but I do so much of that for my business and kind of use that, or, you know, all the other things that kind of relate to my business that way. But the completely outside hobbies that I have, I would say, are fruit picking. Surprisingly, I love going fruit picking. I pick like strawberries and blueberries with my mom locally in the summer, like early summer, and we also pick apples here. It's really good apple country. We go up to Niagara to pick nectarines and pears and peaches and cherries and all that stuff, and I absolutely love it. We're actually doing like a corn bee coming up next week, where we get like 13 dozen corn, and we just like blanch it and cut it all up in bags for the freezer. So big into stuff like that. I also love going hiking. I hike almost every Sunday with my dad and Gibby, of course. Gibby comes along. Hey, Gibby. And yeah, so I guess between hiking and fruit picking and like being outdoors when I can, that's kind of what I spend my time. Oh, and wine and beer tasting. Definitely have a hobby of that. So there you go. Those are my answers to the Seamstress tag. I would love to hear your answers to it. This is a tag video, of course, and I tag everyone watching this to do it. I want to see all of your videos, and please send me a link to them as soon as you make them and upload them, because I would really love to see those. Thank you so much for watching my video, and like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe down below if you haven't already. And until next time. I'm like sweating profusely. Gibby! Such a little weasel. Not adventure time. Yo, are you gonna be bad?